Hey everyone, welcome back to ToughLossBro, a podcast about sports. We have Jeff and Steve here. You see them. We're going to be the regular three: Jeff, Steve, and Adam. Here at Tough Loss Bro podcast. To give you a little bit about what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about sports, mainly baseball and football, since those are the topics we're most comfortable with. We won't be afraid to stray outside those two sports. But I think that the theme of this podcast will be a little bit different in the fact that we're going to talk about the emotional side of sports sometimes, and the best part about sports can be the hardest part, which is losing and then getting back up. And that's our overall theme: is what it's like to have your back against the wall, whether you're an athlete, whether it's yourself, and stories about getting back up and being a beacon for other people to get back up themselves if they're in a tough situation. With that being said, we're just going to dive right into it today. We're going to talk about right now to start off if we ran the league. It is baseball season, so we're going to begin with the MLB. We have some ideas of what we would do. Each of us, we have ideas of what we would do with the league. Maybe to bring more fans, maybe to broaden the sports outreach to fans, and things like that. We're gonna jump off right away. We'll start with Jeff. He seemed kind of antsy to get started with the subject, so I'm gonna get started with Jeff here. If you ran the league, Jeff, what would you do with Major League Baseball? How would you, considering the current CBA is expiring, what kind of changes would you make? What would you like to see in the league?
Well, I mean, the first thing I'd do is I'd reduce the amount of games in the league. I'd probably cut it down to like 154, maybe
Ooh.
even a little less than that. You can definitely cut the games, cut the league by 8 to 10 games, I'd say. It's just too long. We're playing playoffs in November now. It's cold. I have a personal objection to that because the Phillies suck in cold weather. They can't start the season. They can't close the season. So let's bring that back a little bit. So I can have a little bit more enjoyment in October as well. I mean, that's number one that I would do. I was also thinking about maybe like a draft lottery for the bottom part of the league. It doesn't have to be a full overall league, but like the bottom 6 to 8 teams jump in a lottery to pick their players. So it kind of, I know baseball doesn't have the same issues as basketball or football with losing on purpose to get a draft pick better. And the draft isn't even the same in baseball, considering the development of players is so much different. But just throwing ideas out there. I'm gonna throw out maybe we nip that in the bud before it ever even happens. Let's give these teams a reason to just keep playing at the end of the season. Um,
Real quick, are you saying like almost like the bottom say 8 teams, they have their own little like it's I could see like maybe replacing like the Rule 5 draft kind of thing where
yeah,
teams get to pull from a team, like have the bottom 8 teams get a shot at unprotected players from other teams, which is what the Rule 5 draft
yeah,
is, kind of replace that and modernize it a bit.
kind of, yeah. And that's what I was kind of hoping someone would jump in on this as well, because
Yeah.
just to it's a good discussion to talk about. Um, and one more thing I would do is just, I'm big on I know we have a salary cap and all that. I do think there should be a salary floor. And I know that's something we probably all agree on. We got to stop teams like the Marlins and despite them playing well right now anyway, but the Rockies, the White Sox last year, but they're playing really well this year. But it's annoying to see teams not spend any money. I mean, we talked about this off camera with the Marlins being in third place and their entire team salary is less than what Juan Soto makes. And it's crazy. Like, I know that what I'm saying isn't making sense in the terms that the Marlins aren't hampered by their lack of spending money right now. But still, I think the salary floor would be huge for competitiveness in the league. We just need more
I
teams
agree
playing.
with that.
Yeah.
How about you, Steve? What anything in particular you would like to see change in baseball to grow it, or and any whatever the case may be, to have more outreach?
Well, Jeff definitely stole my idea there about
That's okay.
the
Add to
the
it.
salary floor. I think with the CBA coming up, you're going to have a bunch of owners saying that they don't want to pay players and that there should be a salary cap. The NBA is going through what they call the second apron now, and it's like minimizing the ability for teams to be able to spend money on, like, I'm sorry, but if you're a billionaire owner, you should be able to spend however much money you want to spend on players. And so the salary floor, I think, is important, because you can't have teams like the Pirates basically say, we love Paul Skeens, but we're never going to pay him. We love Tariq Skubal, sorry, and we're not going to pay him. And so if this guy demands having a $400 million contract, then he basically has to leave your team. That, I don't think, makes a sport competitive. And so baseball is weird just because the playoffs are weird, and like you can just get hot for like 2 weeks and basically win.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make you competitive. And look at the Mets. We spent all the money in the world. You can't spend it right, but I think that there should be, if they're going to put in a cap, then there should be a floor.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, there has to be a minimum you meet.
I'll jump in right there, because I think we all three of us definitely agree on the salary cap or salary floor. I don't believe that there should be teams that are spending $350 million and then teams that are just spending 60. Like, that's what's wrong with the sport. Not the owners spending too much. It's the owners with the same amount of money, maybe not as Steve Cohen, obviously one of the richest owners in all of sports, but they're all billionaires. And I think that they can't be short-sighted in this CBA, in realizing like where the country is as well, with people living paycheck to paycheck. I think it'd be short-sighted of them to be like, you're basically talking about billionaires fighting with millionaires, and people don't want that right now. What they want is a sport, and they want the game that they love to be played, and not miss any of the time. For me, with changing baseball, if you have something to say, Jeff, jump in real quick before I start, because
Oh, no,
I want you
you're
to
good.
get that thought out.
No, you're good.
So what I think, baseball, it's my sport, played it. I love everything about the game. My big thing is showcasing the players. I think that's what baseball needs to do more. I think that there should be universal days off. I think every Monday should be an off day for every team, a travel day. And then people can have, like, if let's say everybody's off on Monday, then you could have 2-game series where it's like a rivalry kind of thing. You could do stuff like that. You could, and then regional rivalries, just like sports, within the game rivalries. But always highlighting the players. All-Star weekend should be All-Star week. I think there should be an entire week off where it starts on Monday and it culminates in the All-Star game on a Friday night. I think on Monday you have like celebrity stuff, like a red carpet kind of event, which is what they do right now with celebrities. And then throughout the week, you're showcasing the players, things about players. You have the home run derby one night, a baseball skills competition another night. Like, show what these guys can do. Like,
They gotta have the skills competition. Yeah, like that
baseball,
would be so sick.
These guys are such amazing athletes, and I think baseball does a poor job of showcasing people outside of like Ohtani. And because there's guys like, it's like, think about that. I know Ohtani. I know. I can use him as an example, but I think that would be
who
huge
would
for the
fucking
game.
kill all the skills competitions?
Ohtani. I've never seen him field the ball. I've never seen him field.
What's a couple skills competitions? Like, what would you throw in there? Like,
man,
like throwing a ball at something?
No, it'd be really fun. I want to see these guys' arms. I want to see how far they could throw from home.
Yeah.
I want to see if they could throw it over the fence. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, without killing their
sick.
arm, because they do long tosses, and I'm not talking about something that's going to harm them. I don't want them to go out there and get hurt during the All-Star break. So maybe not literally throwing the ball over the fence, but like, have you guys ever seen these guys, like, videos I've seen, like, fans have like a beer stack, and they'll ask a player to like just knock the top beer can off, and from the outfield they could just knock it off.
Yeah.
Like, things like that, like, show what these guys can do. NBA has the dunk contest, and they're like dribbling, shoot past competition kind of thing. They still do that, where they get the ball in the little hoop thingy, where that whole thing. Baseball can do that stuff and showcase these athletes, and I think that's what's missing in this sport. We're always highlighting just kind of one player at a time. And I think NBA did that for a while too. It was always like Jordan versus Bird or something like that. You know, it was always like one player versus one player. But I think with baseball, highlighting the players is something that's always been missing.
Yeah.
And that's what I would love to do. And an All-Star week where it culminates in an All-Star game on a Friday night where everybody can watch it, would be something that would be awesome. I would love to see that. And I do also agree with the 154 game season. I think less spring training, emphasis more on development of the younger players. I don't care what the older guys are doing. They could take batting practice on the side field. I want to
Yep.
see what in spring training, I'd love to see these young kids, highlight your young kids in baseball. Show like it was great to see Benj and Ewing in spring training this year, being highlighted and being played. I don't care what if a guy, a veteran, can't get ready for the regular season with just working on the side, then then what are we doing? What are we doing as athletes? What are they doing?
Yeah.
But that's what I would love to see with baseball, just an extended All-Star week and highlighting the players more. And the athletes that they are, and comparing them to like other sports. Like these guys are true athletes that kill themselves 180 days a year, straight.
Baseball's a grind. I don't think people
Yep.
realize how hard like July, August are in the baseball season. Like it's 100 degrees outside. These guys are wearing full on pants and a belt and these like not like a short like those are heavy jerseys. I mean, they've gotten a little lighter over time, but
Yeah.
still, man, you don't want to be out there in that weather running around in that kind of shit. And the way they do it, yeah, it's a tough season. So I agree. I completely agree with everything you just said.
Shorten the season, long All-Star week, shorter playoffs, maybe less playoff teams too. I would actually throw in there. I think it's too much. The expanded playoffs is kind of silly to me.
I don't know. I'm mixed on it. I like the idea of a team being able to sneak in and do some damage.
As Steve said, you get too hot for 2 weeks. That's the
Yeah.
thing. It's like you could be that third wild card team, win that 3-game series, and win the whole thing.
The point where it sucks is like you see like the NL is so much more competitive than the AL. So in the NL, that third team kind of works this year because all the teams are competitive. In the AL, that third team is just kind of like they're not going to do anything. Yeah, maybe they could get hot, but probably not.
Cool. Steve, you got any other further thoughts on that before we jump to our next subject?
So there is a betting trend that I'm aware of. It's true in hockey. It's also true in baseball. I think baseball, don't quote me on this, but I think you need to play a best of 57 to basically understand and find out who the best baseball team is. Which is wild because you only get a best of 7. And like the best of 3 in the wild card series, like that's just a fucking crapshoot. Like it doesn't make any sense.
It's a series. Yeah, it's a regular series.
Yeah, and it's just basically how your starting pitchers are lined up. So it's like the baseball playoffs are broken.
I 100%.
I think that the NBA playoffs they shouldn't have a best of 7 in the first round, but they should have a best of 7 in the next couple of rounds. But yeah, the baseball playoffs are just broken. Like I'm very big on, I want to know who the best team was, and I want to see the best team win. I know it'll probably never be my team, but it just is what it is. I want to see who the best team is and be given the opportunity to prove that. And that's just not how the baseball playoffs are. Like, look at the Mets. What was it, 2022? We lost to San Diego. It was like Grom, and I don't even know if that's right.
Scherzer. Was that the Scherzer season?
It just takes one person to blow up, and like your entire season's over. And so, like, the baseball season is 162 games. That's way too long to prove who you are over a weekend.
That's fair. That's all right.
Yeah.
That's probably what you just said. That's the most convincing argument right there. You're right.
Yeah.
162 games is plenty to show who you are.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
You may
absolutely
have changed my mind on that one. Remove the 13. Yeah, because you can't argue with that.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that because I just don't the expanded playoffs, as you said, Jeff, it is just another series. It's almost like two teams tied, and let's let them fight for one more series. Let's let them have 3 more games. But we all know at the end of the day what it's about. and it's about
It's
filling the
fucking
owners'
money
pockets.
grab.
It's money. It's money for the
Oh,
owners,
absolutely.
which
Yeah, absolutely.
they won't spend on the payroll, will they? One last
Well, those
thought,
teams aren't
actually,
in the
because
playoffs.
I just thought about this because there is that revenue sharing, and teams are not forced to use that revenue sharing on their roster. That should be changed. They should be forced to use the money that is revenue shared on the roster. It has to go towards the roster. I think this is pure speculation, but it seems like most of these owners kind of just pocket that revenue sharing, because otherwise, what are you doing with it? If you're not putting money in the roster, like like you said, you brought up the Pirates not signing Skeens. They get revenue sharing. They get money from the other big teams. So it's interesting what they do with that money, and I feel like that should be kind of forced upon them to use it on the roster.
Yeah, I agree with
And
that.
speaking of rosters, we'll jump to our next subject. And this is going to be, we'll do it kind of like a round table. A lot of these are done where you just name your Mount Rushmore. We're going to do it a little different. We're not going to name our 4 in a row, and then open it for discussion. We're going to do a round table where we each name one, maybe discuss it if we feel like there's a discussion there. It could be open to any sport. Just our personal Mount Rushmore of athletes. I think that it'll be fun to discuss between, but we also may just find that we'll just sit here and be like, oh yeah, definitely. Okay, let me do mine. So that being said, we'll get started with Steve. Who's your top athlete for your Mount Rushmore to get us rolling here?
So I'm probably going to do 4 different sports.
Sure.
I would say, and most people aren't going to like these people. I would say for boxing, again, I'm born in 1981. So I can't really go back into what I've seen. You got to think 1991, 1995 is kind of like where I start watching sports like that. I would say for boxing, it's Floyd Mayweather. Not a great person, but an amazing boxer, and somebody who, like myself, like I watch the Sweet Science. I watch boxing like you wouldn't even believe. Like I watch like Friday night fights that nobody cares about. And so I watch a lot of it. And I know he wasn't the most exciting person to watch fight, but there's a reason why he's the best. I can't talk about his managed money, but there's a reason why he is the biggest paid athlete of all time. And it was because everybody wanted to see him lose. And that's why his pay-per-views sold the most. And so it was interesting because he could beat you and make it look easy. And I think as if I was a fighter, I would want to win and not get hit. And so like that's kind of like the best way you come out of that sport is not getting hit. People who retire earlier in boxing are the smarter people. The people who are the fucking CTE and are brain dead, like what was the point of that? So it's just when you can beat the entire sport, you can make the most money, you can beat everybody they put in front of you, you never lost. What's there to argue with? I know he is arrogant and people don't like him and he's annoying and he's not a great person, but like he's the best fighter of this century, I will say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to add to that. I just don't like him. So that clouds my vision. I hate him as a human, but you're right. I can't argue with his boxing accolades. He's obviously top 5, easy.
I couldn't talk about boxing. I couldn't speak on it at all. The last fight I watched is when Tyson bit off Holyfield's ear. So that'll date me a lot. But that's literally that's the last fight I ever remember watching.
Wow.
It's not even a joke. That's literally the last fight I remember watching. What about you, Jeff? Who's your first athlete up there?
My first one, I'm going to go with Jason Kelce. Oh, undersized guy, walk on at Cincinnati. He started as a linebacker and moved to the offensive line his first year in college. And then, drafted 6th round, still undersized. Not a lot of guys wanted him. He almost didn't get drafted. Worked hard with the Eagles and made quite a name for himself. And he might not be, the sexiest pick for athletics and everything. He's not the most athletic guy in the world, but he's just great for this podcast name, like getting back up and everything. That's him, like personified.
Wasn't he voted sexiest man alive?
Wait, he was?
Yeah, he was. I think who's that? People does that? Yeah, I think he was.
Interesting. I didn't know
See?
that.
So he came real far. Even he's a different sexiest man alive. He's the hairiest, sexiest man alive. He looks fucking good. And that started from just a walk on in Cincinnati, doing his best that he could. And now Super Bowl champion, probably Hall of Famer. I can't see them not getting in. And Taylor Swift, part of Taylor Swift's family, her brother-in-law, Jason Kelsey.
Well, he belongs there in the Hall of Fame just because the brother-in-law thing. Yeah, I think that's a great pick actually because it is a grinder guy. He's a grinder guy, and a lot of I think Mount Rushmore's not that kind of grinder guy, but he was in the trenches kind of grinder guy in the trenches of the sport of football. He was a grinder and in the trenches of the sport of football. But yes, I like that pick because it's somebody that you wouldn't pick. Most people just go like for myself, I'm going to pick someone who's very popular and people know of. More like as an everyday person that people will know. So Kelsey, I think, is great to throw up there because it's not someone you would anticipate being on a Mount Rushmore. But like you said, like his grind to get to where he got, which is why I called him a grinder, to get to where he got from a walk-on to be a Hall of Famer is pretty fantastic. I think that's great.
Yeah.
And for me, growing up, is Ken Griffey Jr. I'm a righty, and I couldn't be a lefty. I mean, I guess I could have had I tried, and give it some effort. But I would mimic his swing, the elbow up and everything as a right-hander. I always made sure that my dad would take me to a Seattle Yankees game every year we went, so I could see Griffey play. And he was like the personification of what a perfect athlete, in my opinion, was for baseball. Growing up, seeing him being 6'2" and 200 pounds, I was like, I want to be 6'2". I want to be 200 pounds. I want to be just like Ken Griffey Jr. And that was my life. I made sure I had all his baseball cards, saw all of his games, just stayed up at night. And that's why he's on my Mount Rushmore. Just the accolades aside, obviously the home run prowess, the swing, everybody loved his swing. Everybody would always talk about how great his swing is. To this day, people talk about how the prettiest swing maybe ever is still Ken Griffey Jr. And he was to me, he was excellence personified on a baseball field and everything I wanted to be as an athlete, as a kid who played baseball. He was everything I wanted to be. Was Ken Griffey Jr. and that's why he's up there for me. Yeah, I don't like if you guys loved Ken Griffey Jr. as a kid or indifferent by him. That's kind of like he's my top Mount Rushmore guy when we're talking about all sorts. When we broaden it to sports and open it up to all sports, I got to start with baseball. My love and my childhood favorite player is Griffey.
I love the kid. Yeah, sweetest swing ever. And if you would ever change the baseball logo, I would say that his swing could be what replaces it. But I wouldn't change the logo myself.
No, the swing, they call it the swingman logo. Jordan had the jump man and Griffey had the swingman. If you think about it in that sense alone, like the greatness of Jordan to have his own little logo that you know it by, and Griffey has his own little logo and you know who it is. Greatness personified. As far as baseball center fielders and just athletes go, is Ken Griffey Jr. to me. So that's where I'll start with mine there. For athlete number 2, let's start with Jeff this time, and then I'll go, and then we'll go to Steve, and we'll kind of go from there.
We're gonna go a little more obvious one this time that I'm sure you all would think would come up on my Mount Rushmore, and that's Schmitter, Michael Jack Schmidt. He is my all-time favorite baseball player, my all-time favorite athlete. I would probably say greatest third baseman ever play the game. I don't really know what to say about him. It's Mike Schmidt. Like, you just say
you don't seem like you're gonna. You feel like I feel like you're getting emotional about Mike Schmidt, Jeff.
You're not gonna cry, are you?
No, not getting emotional. But
what about him? Was it about more like like as a kid we idolize these guys? Was it his power? Was it the way he played defense? Was it like what did you look at as a kid because you grew up with him? What was it for
Reminded
him?
me of my dad.
There you go. See, like that's why he's up there.
Simple
Reminds
as
you of your
that.
dad.
Mustache. My dad had a mustache growing up. Like, and I always loved my dad's mustache. It was probably the coolest part about him. And Mike Schmidt had a mustache. And my dad loved baseball. That's why I got into baseball. And Mike Schmidt just resonated with me. It just reminded me of my dad. And he was also, you know, on top of it, one of the greatest players to ever play the game. So easy.
So it was
easy to love him.
An emotional attachment to him. Yeah, that's what you have.
Absolutely.
Like, it just as a kid, to remind you of your dad, and you know, I think that's kind of a neat person to put up there as well. With that, because
and he did make me cry. He made me cry 1989 when he retired. And at the time, my dad told me he retired because he had hemorrhoids. And he did have a hemorrhoid issue at the time that year, but obviously that's not the reason you retire playing the sport you played.
All
Anyway,
right.
pass that on to Steve.
Steve, what do you think? Who's your second athlete? I can't hemorrhoids. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on from the hemorrhoids. You probably won't think this is what I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna choose Serena Williams.
Whoa. Okay.
I have to read off some stats, so don't mind if I look off camera a little bit.
No, that's fine.
Career record 858 and 156. So that's what, like 80, 90 plus percent of her match. She has 24 Grand Slams. She won, and so I know a bit about tennis because I bet tennis, and so I know that different surfaces are about different players, and so some people are better on grass, some people are better on hard court, some people are better, like if you think Rafael Nadal, he's good on clay. She won the Australian Open in 2023, 2025, 2007, 2009, 2010, 2015, and 2017. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, like 6 fucking majors right there. She won the French Open in 2002, 2013, and 2015. She won Wimbledon, which is like everybody's like favorite event, in 2002, 2003, 2009, 2010, 12, 15, 16. She won the US Open in 99, 02, 08, 12, 13, and 14. She won a career Grand Slam in 1999. So she won every fucking event in 1999.
That's insane.
And that's like just scratching the surface. And if you think of when I grew up watching tennis, because I had HBO as a kid, and so I used to watch like tennis a lot, and like tennis players like phased out when they were like 22 years old. She did this into her 40s. She came from an underserved community. She was raised in Compton. She had her dad teach her and her sister, and if you remember back in the day, Venus was better.
Yeah.
And so she kind of came out of nowhere and dominated a sport for 20 plus years. Like I could go down the list here. It's
you don't even have to at this point. Like just the winning the Grand Slam, and then wasn't she in '99? She was probably like what 19 something, like she's young, isn't? I feel like I'm the same age as her.
She's born in 81.
So yeah, exactly. She won the Grand Slam when she was 18 years old.
Yeah,
that's greatness personified. Again, like
the pressure.
Use that phrase again.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a great pick.
And then she married a billionaire.
Another great pick.
Great pick. Yep.
Great pick by her.
It's hard for me to say that somebody had all those like just odds stacked against them, and they just did all of that and then still came out of it like not being what my next pick might be.
So well, I'll take over at this point, and we go to your next pick in a minute here or two. My next favorite or next Mount Rushmore athlete would be another favorite athlete of mine when I was a kid. It's Deion Sanders. Two-sport athlete. Just to me, I mean, I wasn't a Cowboys fan by any sense of the imagination, but my love for primetime or Neon Deion when he played baseball, I loved him so much as an athlete. Got his shoes, got his jersey when he was on the Cowboys. Like I wouldn't be caught dead in a Cowboy jersey ever. But when Deion Sanders played for the Cowboys, he was, to me, I didn't care that he was on the Cowboys at that point. But I always loved that he was able to like play both. He played both sports in one day.
Yeah,
Like
that's wild.
he played a football game and a World Series game in the same day.
That 30 is nuts.
Yeah.
And then for me, throwing Neon Dion / Primetime up there, I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't throw him on my athlete Mount Rushmore. But I will move on pretty quickly from that because I do want to make sure that we all get an opportunity to get all 4 of ours in. So Steve, since you know who your next one is right now, let's just jump right back into you. Then we'll go for you. Who's your third athlete?
He's about to steal mine.
I don't think so.
I do.
Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, you didn't? No. Thought you were going somewhere else. That's a great one, though.
That's a good
Wayne
one. Literally the
Gretzky.
great one.
Yeah.
The great one. Wayne Gretzky has more stats than anybody else in any other sport. There's like hockey is like the least of the 4 sports, but this guy dominated a sport in no other way that anybody else has ever done. He is the Michael Jordan times 4 of hockey, and he's just like they're the great one, right? So there's no argument. Like who would you say the second best hockey player is? I'll wait.
Crosby, maybe? Like all time? Gordie Howe, maybe. If we're going all time, I'll just throw out names I know.
Bobby Orr.
Bobby Orr.
But I don't know, like, I
Gordie
can't,
Howe.
I'm only saying that from, like, reading. I didn't see Bobby Orr play or Gordie Howe play.
So people from, like, 70 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Exactly. I mean, Crosby would be the modern day best player, I think. Or maybe
Ovechkin.
Ovechkin. Yeah.
Ovechkin.
Yep. Right. Ovechkin has actually broken some of his records. I can come back to this, but there is a list of records that are like type of records that will never, ever, ever fucking be broken.
I think you just came up with another topic for us on another episode for sure. So yeah, Wayne Gretzky is the great one. For sure. I love that pick for a Mount Rushmore. Jeff, who's your third Mount Rushmore?
We're sticking with baseball, Tony Gwynn. I just have to keep him up. I have to put him on here as I've been writing stuff down as we go. Like I've been going back and forth with certain guys, but when you like Tony Gwynn's one of those guys, kind of like Red Maddox, where he just has nuts stats. Ooh. You read it and you're like, that's not real. Like he struck out 434 times in 9,288 at bats. That's absurd. Kyle Schwarber has struck out 434 times in the last year and a half. So to put that in perspective, like Tony Gwynn played for 20 years and he struck out the same amount of times in his whole career. Kyle Schwarber did in 2. That's absurd. You're talking about seasons of 20, just literally just having 20 strikeouts in a year. Yeah. Like how that doesn't even make any sense to me.
With like 800 at bats.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because he was he was a leadoff hitter or like second place hitter. I didn't like watch his whole career, or I was alive for his whole career. But that goes to growing the sport, as we talked about earlier. I think is a lot of people like we know who Tony Gwynn is, but we weren't able to watch him. I mean, obviously as kids, I think with the West Coast 10 o'clock starts for us, I mean, was difficult.
It was more
staying up that late.
It's more Sports Center trading cards.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. That's what I was going to say. It's like that's how I think we all kind of got introduced to a lot of athletes before like Sports Center and things like that. That being said, I'm gonna pick a sport I don't think anybody would think I would pick, and it's a guy from the NBA that I want to throw in the Mount Rushmore, and his name is Michael Jordan. And I was just kidding about the beginning part. But another athlete that I idolize, there's a trending theme to my athletes here is athletes that I idolized. And Michael Jordan is one of them. Posters over my bed, the poster with him with the ball and like his arms, like that was hanging over my bed. The champion or the dunk competition dunk where he's flying through the air from the free throw line on my wall as a kid. Getting Jordans every single year for school, on my feet as a kid. Everything about Jordan, to me, I feel like he might have been the first athlete that I think I really recognized even as like a baseball kid. He was probably the first athlete that I recognized what greatness was. And I saw it in greatness in his photos, and greatness just on the court, and greatness to me. So yeah, Jordan I think might be like an easy pick, but I'm sticking with a theme as far as like players and athletes I idolized as a kid for my list. Let's go back to Steve for his his last Mount Rushmore, and then we'll come back around to me at that point, Jeff, and then me, and then we'll
Steve's
close
is
it out.
eclectic. I'm looking forward to this last one.
Well, here's another one that is not the greatest person, but I want to do 4 different sports. Tiger Woods.
I should have went with Tiger on my last one. He was on my list.
So,
That's who I thought you were taking last time when I said I knew who you were taking.
he debuted in 1997. PGA Tour money list winner. 97, 99, 2000, 2001, 2, 25, 26, 27, 29, 2013. PGA Tour Player of the Year, 97, 99, 2000, 2001, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 29, 2013. It just goes on and on and on. And so that's amazing that he had basically like a 15-year run that was just absolutely amazing. And I'm not even like the hugest golf fan. But to be that dominant, and again, to be someone who came from a background that you weren't expecting that person to come from, to start golfing at like 3 years old. Now, I think Tiger Woods is like a robot as a person. I don't like him, but the fact that he won for 15 plus years of just won fucking everything.
Yeah.
And then you see what what golf looks like these days. There are people of a lot of different ethnicities that are running golf. It's not fucking John Daly. It's not like fat white dude smoking cigarettes. These people have taken golf so much more seriously. And for him to be able to make that impact over that amount of time, I think outside of his other indiscretions, I think that he deserves that Mount Rushmore.
Absolutely.
I had him for a lot of the same reasons. Breaking the not breaking the color barrier really, but like he changed the trajectory of golf when it comes to that.
He could be on your Mount Rushmore as well. He could be your 4th guy on Mount Rushmore.
It's true. Name a black or Asian golfer before Tiger Woods.
No, I know. I can't. Yeah,
I know an Asian one, Vijay Singh. Thank you very much.
There you go. Nice.
Is he Asian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's only one I can think of. But you're going to throw you're going to go with Tiger Woods as well on yours. You want to kick?
No, I'll go. I had a backup in case, because I thought Steve was going to take Tiger last time, so I just threw in someone else. So that deserves to be up there. Bo Jackson. I mean,
gotcha. Yeah.
I thought of that one.
Yeah, he's just overall one of the greatest athletes. And to piggyback off of Deion Sanders there, he played both sports. He didn't play a World Series and football game in the same day, but he ran up a wall after catching a fly ball. He's probably one of the fastest people alive. Like he ran his 40-yard dash at 4.13. There's rumors that he was clocked running a 3.96 40-yard dash. That wasn't official time, but
imagine that.
Absolutely absurd. Yeah, like we missed out. We all lost when he pulled his hip pulled his leg out of his hip. Like
what was that? That
every
was
one
against
of
the
us
Bengals,
lost.
wasn't it? This Bengals Raiders game, I think.
It was against the Bills.
It was the Bills. Oh, it was Bills. Okay, it was the B team.
That's why the Bills will never win anything.
But that's true. I agree. I like Bo knows. I mean, that was a whole campaign ad he had. Bo knows, and he literally. I do believe we were robbed of. I mean, he trajectory wise, he might have been a Hall of Famer in both sports. It's definitely a possibility because his contract was different than Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders was allowed to go play baseball or allowed to go play football during the baseball season. But I think that Bo Jackson's contract language was, I don't think it was even the language. I think it was his personal choice to finish out the baseball season before he played football. I think that was his
Yeah.
personal thing he wanted to do. He wanted to play both, and he did. And he was great at both. And to wrap out the Mount
Enough that they
Rushmore,
let him make that decision.
yeah, I think it should be
Yeah.
the athlete's decision as well. And then to wrap up the Mount Rushmore for myself before we hop into our key segment of getting back up. It is a different sport as well for me. It is going to be tennis, but it was somebody that I never watched tennis. And until I recognized who this guy was. And his name is Andre Agassi. My favorite tennis player as a kid, from when he had hair to when he didn't have hair. Always rooted for him. I loved his personality. I loved the emotion that he showed on the court. I loved how you could tell he enjoyed playing the sport. His love and passion for the game. And he had so much love and passion for the game that he decided to marry Steffi Graf and have a super tennis child. I don't know if they actually did. I really don't know the history. I know that they're married, but I don't know if they had a super tennis child. But Andre Agassi was a guy. I didn't watch tennis, but when the U.S. Open came around, or the big events like the championships, those big championships came around, Andre Agassi was the guy I was rooting for as a kid. And as I said, just a guy that loved the sport, and that's like that to me is important. As a kid, I love to see that passion. And that's why I love sports. It's like guys like that showed passion. And you could tell they enjoyed what they were doing. And that to me was always something that I enjoyed watching athletes have and go through, was like that kind of just be emotional. He was one of those guys that was emotional on the court. He wasn't crying emotional, but he was very emotional on the court. Always fought for, always fought for what he believed was right on the court. Like if the ball was in or out kind of thing, like those things. Was very passionate about the sport and loved it. And then
Loved
with
Andre
that,
Agassi.
yeah,
Yep.
it's great.
Loved him.
And I also wanted to try and do different kind of guys, or different sports with that as well. To keep it pause. Different kind of guys. Wow, we went a little wild in this episode, didn't we? So
and then a little aside, it was the Bengals that Bo Jackson played against, and it was a linebacker named Kevin Walker that tackled him. So just a big middle finger to Kevin Walker. Fuck him.
Fuck that guy.
Ruining our lives. So he's obviously, Kevin Walker is not going to be a guy that we choose for our Getting Back Up series. Nope. To wrap out our second episode here. So this obviously, I think this will be something we always do, is the Getting Back Up series. We each discuss whether it's an athlete or a personal story, where we felt our backs were against the wall and we were able to persevere, get back up, and make the situation better for ourselves, or where an athlete was able to make a situation better for themselves or their team or what have you. And with that being said, Jeff, let's get started with you.
Yeah. So I'm going to take you guys back to September 2025. Not September, sorry. I'm going to take you back to April 2025, when Brandon Marsh started the season batting .95 with a .13 on base percentage and a .167 OPS. He had 16 Ks in his first 51 at bats. Atrocious start to the 2025 season for him. He then hurt his hamstring, was out for a couple weeks, 10-day DL, had to rehab down in Lehigh. And when he came back up, he had one of the greatest months to start. And then since that time, since May 3rd, 2025, when he got back to the league, he's been batting .311, .355 on base, .492 slugging, .847 OPS, which is an insane turnaround. It just doesn't happen that often in baseball to just go from one thing to the other. Like, it's such a hard sport. And there were signs leading up to it. His BABIP for the last couple of years has been 348 or better. To contextualize that, he's done that for 5 seasons of 250 plus plate appearances. The only other people to do that are Brandon Marsh. 5 times. Nobody's done that.
He's in a league of his own.
Yeah. Nobody's done that 4 times. Nobody's done it 3 times. It's been been twice by a handful of players. But Marsh has done it 5 times. So the indicators have been there that he was going to break out. Like, he's putting the balls into play. He's just unlucky. So now he's starting to put them into play where there's nobody there to catch it, and he's breaking loose. This guy is he's one of the top batters in the league right now. I think he's number 2 in the NL batting average.
Wow.
But leader in the All-Star voting for outfielder. That dude's made a whole complete turnaround since April 2025. So
That's a great
that's
choice.
my getting back up.
Yeah, that's a great choice. I love the fact that we're making this about perseverance, and that's exactly what that is. That's a guy that was struggling and then got hurt and decided he was going to come back a completely different player. Maybe we don't know what he did, the work that he did outside of rehab. Maybe he did mental work. Maybe he was working like a sports psychologist, things like that. Like, these are things that I think that these guys under the radar do. And I think to segment into my getting back up, I know that I talked about the Mets as a whole in 2015, but I'm going to talk about one of my all-time favorite Mets, a getting back up story for this, and that is one Mr. David Wright. Not a guy that had a tough upbringing or anything like that. His story for me started with his spinal stenosis diagnosis that he got. And he continued to. This is an injury that ends careers, essentially. It ended Don Mattingly's career, changed his career trajectory from possibly Hall of Famer to what he is now. A guy that is on the fringes. A Phillies. I mean, that's not a bad place to be. I wouldn't mind being a manager in the major leagues. But with David Wright, got his diagnosis, refused to back down from it, continued his rehab, went back, never really became the leader of the Mets as far as like on the field, but became an emotional leader because he couldn't be on the field. And I think he was an athlete and a guy on my favorite team that I was able to look up to in that, because it didn't matter to him. His job was to play baseball, and he took it seriously, and he was able to get through that injury and work through it and get up. Like, he was getting up 2, 3, 4 hours before the game, getting to the stadium to work on his back just to get ready to play every single day. And sometimes the back wouldn't get loose, and sometimes it would.
I disagree with that, because he was an emotional leader. He was the captain. Everybody looked to him during those shitbag teams that were absolute garbage, and he was everything that we had at that point. And so you're right. He did all of that kind of stuff to like get ready, and which most people wouldn't do. It's kind of like Mamba mentality stuff, but he did everything that he could possibly do.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's the emotional part where he was the leader. On the field, he wasn't. He couldn't be that on the field anymore. Like, that guy that could be counted on for that big 3-run homer, or, that diving stop to, because his body changed, and the things that he had to do just to even get prepared for a game and be a professional athlete at the level he even continued to be, because, he still was a good player. He was just not the trajectory of Hall of Fame that I think he would have continued to be on, and that would have been an all-time Met for me. He would have been an all-time Met, I believe, and walked into the Hall of Fame as a Met. But that's my guy for persevering through and battling through injury, and still wanting to put on the best show for the fans and for your teammates. And that being said, Steve, how are you feeling on your getting back up story?
I just want to say, echoing off the David Wright thing, I always loved David Wright, even as a Phillies fan. I always thought I had utmost respect for David Wright. Big fan. Anyway, go ahead, Steve.
That's like,
we appreciate it.
My wife laughs at me because when David Wright had his last game and it was like sort of performative, I fucking cried my eyes out.
I was bawling.
Yeah.
Bawling.
She
I was crying.
She laughed at me. She was like, "This is ridiculous." Like, I cried so much during that game, and then when they retired his number, I cried again.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, I cried. Yeah, that's okay.
That's awesome. I love it.
That's why he's my guy.
It takes a lot to get me to cry about certain stuff like that. This one I won't cry about. During a game, the Houston Texans, Alex Smith was sacked by J.J. Watt. The impact pinned his leg awkwardly, resulting in a compound spiral fracture of both his fibia and his tibia, meaning the bones broken pierced through his skin. If you remember, he had 17 surgeries after that injury. His leg looked like if you put chicken in a Dutch oven for like 7 hours, it just falls off the bone. That was Alex Smith's injury. And so he came back in 2020, and he only played like maybe a couple of games, but he got comeback player of the year.
You play.
I would say that they should rename the comeback player of the year after Alex Smith, because he came back, he won games. I can't even fucking imagine of what he went. 17 surgeries is wild. The only other thing that I can think of is DeMar Hamlin, who basically died on the field. Somehow didn't win comeback player of the year. But like to see those pictures, to see what he went through, and to like, you've made millions of dollars. You don't have to come back. To be able to put yourself through that, come back, play, to do something that you love, that is something that I think should be acknowledged, because it was crazy looking. It was
that documentary was great too.
Yeah,
if you guys watched that. Yeah,
it's
that was awesome.
it's hard to watch. It's actually hard to watch. It was yikes. But he came back and he won 2020 Player of the Year. And honestly, I'm saying like they should rename the award after him.
Yeah, that's the Theismann award. That's the Theismann injury too. It's like the same.
Yeah. Wasn't it like the same opponent, the same day, like the same
yard line too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like such a weird thing.
That was wacky.
But I honestly, I wouldn't. I never even thought of him, of Alex Smith. But that is definitely a guy that you said you mentioned millions of dollars. Yeah, he's making quarterback money, this highest paid player you could be on a team in that league. And just was like 17 surgeries. I don't care. I'm getting back out there. That is awesome. A guy that is easily that you could easily look up to and say thank you for giving me this kind of motivation and story. Because people go through lots of injuries and lots of sicknesses and illnesses and things like that. And I think if you can look at like Alex Smith, a guy that basically had it all and decided it's still not enough. I want one more shot at this, and I know I can do it, and I know I can make it back. So that's a great pick. And with that being said, he did, yeah, it's true. So just overall, I think I love the list. I love that we picked some really crazy athletes, I think, for our Mount Rushmore. I thought that was a fun little thing to do. And change it up a bit and not just kind of like keep it mundane. And I really appreciate the stories, the getting back up stories. Particularly, I think Alex Smith was just a great one.
Yeah.
Someone that was like outside my periphery. I wouldn't even like think about that. So that was really great. And I appreciate you, Steve, for bringing Alex Smith's story to this podcast. I think that it's definitely worth for people that may not know what happened with him, that are maybe new to the sport or whatever and don't really get what it took for him to get back on the field. So yeah, I think that'll wrap us up today, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. That's Steve and Jeff. I'm Adam. Steve is in the Las Vegas hat and Jeff is in the Phillies hat, in case you guys didn't know. But I think their names might be there too. I don't know. But thanks for tuning in, guys. We will be coming back at you next week with a fresh new take on different topics. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Peace.